Hello again. I hope you're all enjoying the great insights and speakers as much as I'm doing. Our next speaker is a very special person, a dear friend of mine, and a award-winning storyteller, Vika Victoria, and she's gonna talk to us about the power of storytelling, a really, really important skill in the 21st century and in any roles and any function. So it's a great topic to end our summit today. Her work and her voice has been featured in Time, in Dr. Oz show, in The Moth, in the Sleep Space. So she's been featured in many, many great places. She runs her own advisory, teaching leaders and teams on the power of storytelling. She also works with men on their journey for self awareness and liberation. So, pretty heavy stuff she's working on. And also, I'm excited that she's joined my new nonprofit, Meta Mindfulness, as a founding fellow, where we help mindfulness techniques to bring to the workplace for reducing stress and anxiety. So with that, let's give a warm welcome to Vika Victoria. Vika, please take it away from here.
Thank you. Thank you. Sending warmth from Santa Monica. I hope everyone is feeling wonderful. I am Vika, a Soviet-born storyteller, speaker, and teacher, and founder of Stories That Shift. I'm so thrilled to be here and share my world with you. We're going to dive into the history, science, and art of story in 15 minutes, plus a special premiere of a piece I wrote just for you. My intention today is twofold. First, I'm here to transport you to a new perspective. Second, I'm here to help you understand why, if you do nothing else but focus on stronger storytelling, your business and relationships will be transformed. As a multidisciplinary storyteller, I'd like to share a spoken word piece with you. A little different. A few days ago, a friend was stressed about a work deck, shrugged their shoulders, and said, "I'm not a storyteller." I smiled and leaned in. This is where the fun begins. I said, "You're already a storyteller. That email you sent this morning, that's a story. The presentation you gave last week, that's a story too. The way you introduce yourself to a new stranger, that's the most important story coming out of you." The truth is, we are born storytellers. It's how we learn, it's how we survived, it's how we've evolved since the beginning of time. Without stories, the world would be flat. We wouldn't know our history or know how to interact. You are a storyteller whose stories have the power to influence and impact. So what are you going to do now that you know you were born with this gift? What seeds will you sow? Let's talk about the role of storytelling historically. This is really good stuff. Did you know that being a good storyteller is one of the most important traits in our human cognitive repertoire? Anthropologists followed the Agta, a tribe of indigenous hunter-gatherers in the Philippines who most closely mimic how we lived pre-agricultural revolution. What they found was pretty interesting. When they surveyed the Agta, asking what qualities were most prized, storytelling was more valued than hunting skills or medicinal knowledge. According to anthropologists, storytelling was necessary survival skill. It was how we shared and obtained information that kept us alive. It gave us a sense of belonging in tribe. Knowing how to tell stories is more than a talent or a skill. It's a way we build trust and friendship. Stories fulfill our psychological need for safety in conversation. So what happens to our brains, though, on storytelling? Let's talk about the science of storytelling. The neuroscience of storytelling looks like this. Humans can go 3 weeks without food, 3 days without water, and only 35 seconds without our minds mapping out a narrative. We are quite literally wired for story. We are meaning-making machines. According to scientists, what makes stories effective, two things. One, captures attention. Two, emotional stimulation. Now, this is no easy task given that we live in an attention economy. Thanks to our tech addiction and all these shiny red toys, our attention span is lower than a goldfish at just 8 seconds. So how can we keep someone's attention in a story? You've got to keep the tension alive. Physiologically, this releases cortisol, a stress hormone, which increases focus and excites the mind. When stories transport us into a character's world, we experience a spike in emotion. And that is where empathy lives. As we identify and empathize with a character in a story, we release oxytocin, the connection or love neurotransmitter. Now, studies show that emotionally engaging stories evoke feelings of trust, compassion, and generosity. In the workplace, we need to be able to quickly build rapport and relationships. We got to engage in large-scale cooperation. Now, this is where the power of storytelling comes in and transforms everyday business affairs into meaningful, game-changing partnerships. Now more than ever, we're asking, but how do I build trust in a virtual world? The answer is stories. It always has been, and it always will be. Which brings us to art. My favorite part. The art of storytelling is where stories come alive. So follow me. We're going to do something physiologically first together as we activate our vagus nerve through breath and guided story. We're going to be moving from our prefrontal cortex in our brains back to our limbic brain so that we can experience heightened creativity and imagination as the story transports us. I'm going to ask you to close your eyes and keep them closed until I say otherwise. Take a deep breath in, nobody's watching, and release the stress of the day away. We're going to be inhaling for 3, 2, 1. Exhaling through your mouth for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In 3, 2, 1. Out 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In 3, 2, 1. Out 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now follow my voice with your eyes closed and let my voice guide you forward. Left, right, left, right. You find yourself walking inside a large white building. The ceilings are high, the walls are bare. You're alone in a big museum of sorts. A long hallway captures your attention. You notice a series of doors with one letter painted on each. You walk past slowly, reading each door letter aloud. S is the first door, then T, then O, then R, then Y. This is the hallway of story. Curious, you open the first door labeled S. As you walk in, you see one big canvas on the wall. The word sincerity painted across. You stand in front of it, remembering a time when you heard a story told with deep sincerity and authenticity. Your whole body feels it. As you walk out of the room, you see a post-it note on the back of the door. It reads, "Sincerity is how authentically you can express how this story changed you." You walk out and back to the hallway. The next door awaits, painted with a T. As you walk in, the word tone is painted across a massive canvas. You stare and feel as the word tone lands on you. You remember the time someone's tone struck you. On the bottom of the canvas, a statistic is scribbled. Researchers found that tone matters 500% more than content. Your body fills with surprise. As you walk back, a post-it note reads on the back of the door, "How you say something is more important than what you say." You walk back to the hallway and your hand reaches for the third door with an O painted on it. As you walk into the room, two massive canvases appear, offer and omit. You stand in front of both, letting the words hit. Remembering, what have the best stories offered you? And what have you omitted from the ones you've shared? As you walk out, a post-it note on the back of the door reads, "Know clearly what your story offers and omit the irrelevant." As you walk back to the hallway, you eagerly open the fourth door labeled R. Upon walking in, you see a large canvas with relationship painted across. You wait and let the word land. You think about how a story lands inside you, about the relationship between a story and its audience, about which form a story is delivered, whether it be an email, a call, a presentation, or a live meeting. You walk out of the room and notice a post-it note. It reads, "Understanding the intersectionality of these relationships strengthen the impact of the story." You walk back to the hallway and reach for the fifth door labeled Y. As you walk in, you see your energy painted across the canvas. You stand in front of the art piece and feel your own energy. You remember a moment when someone's energy in a story influenced and inspired you. You think of the times you felt somebody's energy non-verbally, on the phone, through a screen, in person. You walk back and see another post-it note on the back of the door. Without your energy, the attention of the listener is lost. The last door is different from the others. It has your first initial painted on it in your favorite color. As you walk in, you're delighted to see an empty canvas, paints, and a post-it note that grabs your attention. You read it out loud. Now it's your turn. What makes a stronger story? Paint one word. You remember the other doors as a film strip moves above your head, recounting the 5 key pillars of stronger storytelling: sincerity, tone, offer and omission, relationships, and your energy. You stand back and savor the empty canvas. You think about all the best storytellers you know. You think about all the best stories you've ever told. You feel it all. And then you pick up the paintbrush and you begin to paint your word. You stare at this word. You let it land in your body. And then you walk backward from the canvas, slowly letting the word get smaller and smaller. An empty post-it note hangs on the back of the door. You take it and scribe one sentence of instruction. Back in the hallway, your fingers are wet with paint and you touch the doors STORY. You can't help but smile as you realize you are always the author and artist of your story. Breathing in deeply and slowly coming back. From that little storytelling exploration. I believe in the power of story to change our lives. Great narratives lead to growth and deeper relationships. It's about improving the stories we share in emails, in meetings, in conversations, and inside ourselves. Stronger storytelling is how we become unforgettable storytellers. In a McKinsey study following 1,500 executives, creativity was ranked as the #1 skill for leaders for the future. And what is storytelling, if not the expression of creativity itself? I invite you to expand your storytelling capacity. There is no limit to the possibilities. I spent my 20s closing multi-million-dollar deals with the power of story. Now I'm spending my 30s teaching what I know to be true. That stronger storytelling is the vehicle to success. Thank you. I want to hear from you and stay in touch. I'm so curious what your word was and what that one-liner on the Post-it note was. Please find me on socials, on LinkedIn, and email me, v@vikatalks.com. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am so thrilled I got to share my stories with you. And I wish you the best of luck as you embark on stronger storytelling.